meeting featuring Dr. Joan Meloof, Professor Emeritus at Salisbury University and founder of the national organization, the Old Growth Forrest Network, to speak to the stewardship situation of our beloved Governor Dick Park. We've been trying to schedule this workshop meeting for some time, and we finally received word that it would be preferable if Dr. Maloof's presentation could just be delivered to the Parks Board of Directors. I am here to ask you in person if we would be able to continue this conversation directly with the county commissioners who are the trustees of this county-owned park. The two things our friends of Governor Dick group are asking of the commissioners are simple and straightforward: to commission an independent review of the park's forest stewardship plan and to make reforms to the Parks Board of Directors. The Natural Lands Trust would be an ideal organization to have review the stewardship plan. They have preserved over 100,000 acres in southeast PA and work with landowners to develop and implement forest stewardship plans. In the introduction to the book, Land for Life, a handbook on caring for natural lands, put out by the Natural Lands Trust in bold lettering is, managing natural lands in our region is truly a relationship that benefits from mental flexibility, a light approach, and more humor and humility than hubris. This statement speaks to the heart of the problem with the Parks Board of Directors. The original Friends of Governor Dick included ecologists, naturalists, and a retired science teacher. Their opposing views of the board's forestry agenda were disregarded, and they were treated with disrespect and contempt. They eventually gave up on trying to influence the Parks Board to take a more ecologically sound approach. Were that board to conduct an honest reassessment of their forest stewardship and come to the conclusion that they have been wrong, it would be an injury to pride and therefore something I don't think they would choose to face for themselves. It should not be acceptable that the Parks Board of Directors continue on in their culture of crony politics without binding term limits and the ability to undemocratically appoint their own membership. During the Democratic Candidates Forum on WLBR, Commissioner Litz, you were asked about term limits for County Commissioner's office. You used Chip Brightbill's loss of his Senate seat as an example of how term limits are delivered by the voters. To extend that example to the current conversation, Chip Brightbill now effectively has a lifetime appointment to the Parks Board of Directors. And if the voters of Lebanon County want to challenge his leadership, the only vote we have that impacts the situation is our vote for the office of County Commissioner. Now is the time to have these conversations and make these decisions. The next 40-acre stewardship activity above Mount Gretna Heights is set to be approved for funding by the USDA in October, and I doubt the Parks Board will wait long to get started. Inaction on your part is a decision to continue with the status quo, and a decision to allow this county treasure to be treated as a commercial tree farm while degrading the environment and threatening its future. Responsibility for what happens with our park ultimately lies with you, the trustees, our county commissioners. I hope you will reconsider our request and allow for the scheduling of a Wednesday workshop meeting with Dr. Joan Meloof. Thank you for your time.
Do you have how to spell that name?
It's Meloof.
O-O-F. And what's the first name? John?
Joan.
Joan.
It's the Old Growth Forrest Network. It's a national organization.
How does that apply if we don't have old growth?
It's about founding new old growth. Almost the entire East Coast was denuded of trees, and the idea is to put land in under conservancy that it would be preserved, and then it would qualify to be future old growth, to sort of set forest aside that it will not be timbered.
Under the conservancy?
Conservation easement. To we're actually working with the couple that purchased the 53-acre Gibble tract in between 117 and Old Mine Road. Mm-hmm. Their property was put under conservation easement before they purchased it, and we're going through the process to see if we can add it to the Old Growth Forest Network.
I don't know that we have that authority because technically Psycho, I believe, still owns the land. We are court appointed.
Clarence Schuck left it in trust.
Yes.
the county currently is the trustee
Yes,
appointed by the court.
yeah,
Psycho's not involved. They were co-trustees at one time.
co-trustees, yes.
Were, not
Yeah.
were.
But I guess the point is, we don't out and out own the land.
No.
I
May
don't,
just, we do have a follow-up workshop from the first workshop that we had together, and that is scheduled. And so that's where we are, in spite of some of the comments or the insinuations that they're not wanting, I'd rather wait till after you hear what they have to say,
Okay.
and we go from there, rather than get ahead of ourselves and assume that they're not going to be responsive. I'd rather let them speak for themselves when we get together at this next meeting. Ryan, I think that's the fair process. Then after that, we'll consider, although I'm reluctant to bypass, I'd rather things filter through the board and then get here if the board, that's the process that, we've had. This workshop is scheduled as a follow-up to the last one that we had together. So, that's kind of an exception to the way that we have regarded the board's independence or autonomy by respecting their thoughts, and then, as you mentioned, the assignments of those seats come to the board for, final vote. But lifetime appointments and so on, those kind of comments, that I think those are all, we can discuss them, but I'd rather, and for all the other things you mentioned, I'd rather get through a response from the last meeting that we had, and then see what's left and go from there.
Okay, thank you.
so you do have a meeting scheduled? Oh,
No,
you don't?
No, there's a meeting in August I just did it in the last day or two, put the Governor Dick board on to return.
Oh, so he didn't know
August.
about it?
Not until he walked in here today.
Okay, because it was kind of misleading, and I'm like, do you or don't you
No,
have a meeting?
It just happened in,
Okay.
just a day or two
Okay.
ago. So.
August meeting, okay, thank you. Now I'm clear.
But the original question was Dr. Meloof.
If we could schedule that.
That was something, and Bob, I think you just answered that, but that was a request earlier. I had put that out to the three of you, and the answer back was, please, route them through the board rather than a direct presentation here. So, but Bob, you said, let's, well, what you said, screen this out through the meeting in August and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.